our Spring Design Center about customization. So we, first of all, so grateful for everybody joining us. We will be doing this for at least the next 30 minutes, probably an hour. So ask any questions you want to ask. We'd love to answer all your questions. As always, we have Dawn Dantzler, our Director of Marketing. Say hello, Dawn.
Hello, everybody.
So Dawn will be moderating. She'll be handling the questions in the live chat, letting us know. So we'll stop at various intervals and answer your questions. We will answer all of your questions. I promise you that. Today we have the esteemed pleasure of being joined by one of our longtime tenured sales consultants who I've been working with for a very, very long time. Wendy Loch out of our Spring Design Center. Say hello, Wendy.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, taking time out. It's actually your day off, so thank you for coming in and doing this. That means a whole lot to us. And tell us a little bit about your journey. How long you've been with Tilson? I happen to know the answer to all these, but how long you've been with Tilson and kind of what brought you here and what all you've done since you've been here?
So I've been here with Tilson for now about 16 years. I started at our corporate office as the assistant to the vice president at that time, Mike Thornleyson. Spent about 3 years there, and when the opportunity came up for, to learn about the design and the customer-centric part of the business, I jumped at it, and I came to Spring, worked very closely with you. And so this is my home. I've been here off and on from different locations, but almost the entire 13 years here in Spring.
Very cool. Yes, you have. I've seen you do some amazing things with customers' design. So it has been a lot of fun. And thanks again for joining us today. So today, we get the question a lot. I like a certain plan, but I don't need that much space. Can you make it smaller? And we typically tell folks, hey, look, we can do that. It's not always the most cost-effective way to do it. You usually start with a smaller plan and go bigger. But Wendy went digging through her archives of amazing designs that she's done over the years and found a San Jacinto, albeit on San Jacinto Day here in Texas. It's a big deal for us local native Texans. April 21st, San Jacinto Day, the day that we, in fact, won our independence from Mexico at the Battle of San Jacinto, just south of Houston. So, but you did this with our San Jacinto model home for a customer, not once, but twice.
Yes.
So very cool story in that. So I'm going to not steal any more thunder. I'm going to let you take it away. And we did a catchy little, hope we don't get in trouble with Disney thing today. Honey, I Shrunk the San Jacinto twice. Yes. So Wendy, please take it away. Tell us about this customer, what they were trying to accomplish, where they even saw this design, and how you guided them through this journey. And guys, ask any questions you want throughout the presentation. We'll stop at various points and answer your questions. So without further ado, Wendy, take it away.
Yes. So this particular customer came to me and, like we hear a lot, want to shrink the San Jacinto down. They don't need all that 2,500 square feet. So just like you said, Eric, we do say it's not always the most cost-effective way to go about things necessarily, but if you really want that San Jacinto and pretty much everything about it shrunk down, it can be done. So we just went over the design again and again and shrunk down the things and maybe took some parts of the house out to fit exactly what they were looking for, and they loved it. And it just turns out that about 3 years later, there's the first time that they did it. And about 3 years later, they decided to move to Peach Creek, get a little bit more property out there, and modified it somewhat, and then built it again. They loved it. They came back in 2016 the second time, added a garage, modified the exterior just slightly, and that's how we came about it.
So I didn't want to, and I don't want this to be lost on the audience here, Wendy, while we're going through this, is that, we had an elevation or an exterior facade that looked very similar to this for many, many years on the model in Spring. And, they built what they thought was going to be their forever home, right? And most of our customers, that's how they refer to it. And it turns out their forever home wasn't quite far enough out, right? So some point during 2013, when they moved into their first Tilson home, in 2016, when they decided to do it again, something changed, and they decided, hey, you know what? This is not far enough out for us. We want to get a little further out, but we love.
I think they had graduated also from high school, and just kind of the situation had changed. They wanted a little bit more property, and they came again to buy their forever home. So I don't think that it was something that they were planning on doing, but we're certainly happy that they did. For sure.
So they made a couple of changes between the one they built with us. And first of all, the fact they're a return visit. I mean, not just return visit, repeat customer, like that's an honor. That speaks a lot to you as a consultant, that they were, a lot of people, you hear horror stories when people build custom homes, and we're really, really fortunate here at Tilson to have that system down and have consultants with great experience like you guys are super customer centric, where not only do you not hear those stories, really, you actually have people that come back and do it again. Tell us a little bit about any other families that you kind of have done that with.
So this particular customer also, we had kids about the same age, and they have actually brought their son to me to kind of explore the opportunity to, look at some property and to possibly build there too. So they have now brought their son. He has not decided to build with Tilson yet, but as far as exploring that. But we have so many awesome customer stories from multi-generational. I've had a grandmother, her daughter, and her grandson all build homes. A father and a son built a house, and then we have my famous three sisters that built versions of the Bridgeport right next to each other all at the same time. So there's a lot of really great family stories, and this is just one of my favorites.
Sure. Yeah. We always, we don't want it to sound cliche when we say we want to make you part of the Tilson family. We genuinely, that's a real thing. A lot of our customers, they are in fact generationally part of the family. Their grandparents built with Tilson, their parents built with Tilson, and like Wendy said, she had one with three sisters down in Wharton County that built all three at the same time, which was really, really cool. And that's something we've had some folks in San Antonio that have done the same thing. So anyway, I just wanted that to be, not to miss that story in this whole thing, that it speaks a lot to again, you as a consultant. And
it's absolutely not something I take lightly. It is something I am very passionate about. And when I can help anybody, but when I can help a family multiple times, it's really, really special.
Cool. Very cool. So we do have, we want to get to some of the changes. And again, you guys post your questions. I know some of them have been posted there. Dawn's answering a few of them there. So post your questions. Once we get into these design changes, Wendy's going to walk us through the changes that were made. And if you guys got any questions as you're going through, man, just pitch them out there. We'll be glad to answer them for you. So have at it, Miss Wendy.
Okay. So when I first hear that you want to shrink down the San Jacinto, or this particular customer wants to shrink down the San Jacinto, it's just really important for me to understand what it is that you need in your home. So this customer didn't need the 4 bedrooms that came with the San Jacinto. So we have custom options available for this plan that will allow you to do just a 3-bedroom option. That already shrinks down your plan a little bit. So we did that here by taking out that bedroom number 4. We also, we use the flex room as the utility room space, opening up your utility space as actually garage space on here. So it's just, we're using some spaces a little bit differently. Beyond even what's showing here, we did take a little bit of square footage out of the house. Maybe we make the master bedroom became a little bit smaller. Bedroom number 2 became a little bit smaller. So that's kind of how we started with this floor plan.
Yeah. So, and so again, I want to point out to folks is that, we have these rooms on our plans on the website, other places, they're labeled, right? I mean, so the San Jacinto comes with 4 bedrooms plus a flex room plus a formal dining room. Don't ever think that you're trapped into what we've labeled a room as to that's the only thing it can be, right? It's we don't get caught up in labels. I know that sounds very cliche, but truly the space can be used, however you want to use it. And like you're going to see, on the note here, it says delete flex room and utilize this, move utility space into this space. So that became the utility room, and they ended up getting a larger garage, larger porch out of that. But so approximately, I know people are going to want to know, footage wise, what did we take out, and price wise. Of course, we'll get to that here in just a second. But anything between their 2013 customizations they made and the 2016 custom, so they built the house. You always have that. What would I do differently? Tell us a little bit about that.
So also in between them building the two houses, we also revamped our San Jacinto model here to include a couple of other options. So here at our model, we added the cedar beams in the family room and the dining room that are shown here now. They loved that, so we incorporated that into their second home. The stone in the kitchen, we did some different changes also in the kitchen. But they decided to keep the stone. That's one of the main things that people just love about that San Jacinto is that kitchen. We hear that all the time. As far as other changes they made, they added a fireplace, the floor plan, which is a custom option that you can do with any of our floor plans.
Sure, and we have some interior and exterior pictures we'll show you guys here in just a bit. So feel free to ask any questions that you want to ask as we go through. So what is the note here? This is a smaller windows on the front of homes. When you shrink this home down, kind of what happens to the scale of it? Something that people may not think about.
So when we hear, can we just make this house smaller? Leave it exactly the same and just make it smaller. Well, that one doesn't work. So all of a sudden hallways and doorways and things just get way too small and they don't seem to work. So that's when we have to get a little bit creative with finding out what you need in the space so that we can keep those spaces, maybe make them smaller. And when we made what's labeled as the dining room and bedroom number 2 smaller, we actually, to keep it a little bit more scaled, single windowed on those 2 rooms.
Yeah, and so going back to the plan before that, you can see where it's got your double windows here, all the way across the front of that model home. Even going here, all these double windows. When you shrink that down, the stone would get so minuscule on both sides that just a kind of a subtle change of going from 2 windows down to 1 really helped. So that was really brilliant of you actually to do that. Here. So here's what are we looking at here? How much footage did we take out and what are we looking at?
So we took out just right at about 400 square feet of actual living area. There was quite a bit more porch that was added. Obviously the garage space was added, but living area itself was about 400 square feet.
Okay, well that's a pretty significant amount of footage. Yeah. There's a big difference between a 2,000 square foot house and a 2,500 square foot house. So, and so there's I see the fireplace now and of course, the box beam details. Tell us a little bit about why the master swapped to the back versus here.
So it was a design choice because they wanted the master smaller. It was one of the areas that they didn't need as much space. So we were able to make the master bedroom smaller. It fit better in the location it's in now, but they also wanted a little bit more buffer between the master bedroom and that bedroom number 3. So they kind of like that bathroom and both the bathrooms actually as a buffer between those spaces.
Okay, I noticed they gained 2 separate walk-in closets instead of just the one walk-in. What was behind that? Was that just your take on it?
It was just trying to get everything to fit in the space that I had to work with. And they love the 2 separate closets. In fact, he was mentioning that he could have done without his own closet, but we still gave him one.
He actually got a closet. Good for him.
Yeah, he just thought it wasn't necessary. So, yeah, and it turns out to be about the same footage as the bigger closet that's in the model of the San Jacinto, both of those combined, but I think it works very well in that design for them.
Cool. So Dawn, do we have any questions we need to answer right this second?
We do have a few questions. Not all of them are popping up, Eric, where you can see them. So
okay, no problem.
I will read some out. Rebecca is asking if a plan like the Hidalgo can be made into a 3-bedroom.
Wendy, can a plan like the Hidalgo be go to 3-bedroom?
I would say absolutely it can. It's really all about what you need that space to be, or what you would use that which bedroom you would like to take out. It's absolutely possible, but we need to know a little bit more about what you're looking for to be able to figure out exactly how that would work.
Yeah, Rebecca, you kind of need that the very front room that I think we label as the flex room on the Hidalgo. Because of the look of that home, you need that room to stay. So that one definitely needs to become one of the bedrooms, which again, that's purely just changing the name on it. It already it's a room with a closet, so it's a bedroom. But the other 2 rooms, maybe the one towards the back, you may not need that room, for instance. You could take that one away. Or the dining room, the formal dining. So, but I think that front bedroom needs to stay, don't you think, Wendy?
Usually, yes. And I will touch on that for a second. But even on the San Jacinto, Hidalgo, really any floor plan, when you're seeing the rooms on the front of the house, oh, I don't need that dining room, I don't need the flex room, I don't need that bedroom. You can't just take that off, because all of a sudden now we're left trying to make a house look like a house from the outside. And the aspects that, the window placements and things like that are really important for your outside of the house. So not just chopping off one of the bedrooms or a room that's on the front of the house is usually the way that we'll go about it. We'll try to salvage those spaces so that we can make your home look like a home.
For sure.
Very good tip.
Cool. Great question, Rebecca. Thank you for asking. What else we got?
Viviana is asking about the cleanup process once the home is finished. What are we doing on the interior and the exterior?
Heavy, hard work. It is not fun, but it's necessary. So yeah, the exterior of the home, of course, is all cleaned up. While it's under construction, it's definitely a job site. We do the best we can, but the stuff gets out, stuff blows around, trash gets out, and so yeah, we do a thorough interior and exterior cleaning of the home. Now, when I say thorough, so I grew up, I'm the middle of 3 boys, and my idea of thorough cleaning might be different from my mother's idea of thorough cleaning, regardless of how often or how hard she whipped us. So, I'm not going to say that we're going to leave it 100% as clean as everybody out there would have it. I will say that we are going to have it, obviously, broom clean, wiped down, all the sheetrock mud stuff you see like on the windows and paint overspray, you see that kind of stuff, like all that gets cleaned up, of course. But if there's something in particular that you're concerned about, you can always put it on your punch out list or your walkthrough list for your building superintendent, and we will get it cleaned up. Absolutely. But yeah, all the big hunks of rock and concrete and that kind of stuff, those are going to come out. Really, unless the customer tells us they want us to leave, like even the excess stone, for instance, if there's stone or brick left over on a job, unless the customer tells us they want to save that, and some of them do, like for landscaping or things like that, they'll want to take it with them or leave it. Otherwise, we're gonna haul it off. What would you add to that, Wendy, as a mother?
I would agree full-heartedly with you that your version and your mother's version is
That's because you know us both. That's not fair.
So I would say that exact same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Hope that answers your question, Viviana.
Great. Liz is asking about the standard ceiling height in the family room for the San Jacinto.
10'6".
Awesome. And then RJ was asking if the garage is an upgrade on the San Jacinto.
It is an option that you can add to most of our floor plans. Only some of our floor plans are going to come with a garage in that base price, but it can be added to any floor plan. So as an upgrade, yes, it could be an additional cost on the San Jacinto. Yes. Okay. You can do attached, detached, 2-car, 3-car, and you really need to let us know what size you need, because we can do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And then Angelica just wanted some clarification on the beams that are in the family room. Are those included in our base price?
They are, and people love them. So the beams on the family room ceiling and the dining room are all included on that San Jacinto.
Great.
Very cool.
And then we have some love for Wendy from her customer.
Yay, they just did their San Jacinto just this past weekend, so yay.
All right, awesome. That is all the questions we have for now, guys.
Okay, so going back to pick up where we left off, Wendy, we went from 2,495 square feet down to 2,000, so exactly 400 square feet, just about pulled out of the home. And so now let's go to, what does this look like? Isn't this beautiful?
Yeah, it really is. They sent me these pictures and they labeled it the perfect Tilson home. So they absolutely love this house. And it looks a lot like our model. It's modified slightly. It's got some, the stone posts on the front, the stone bases, I guess, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
At the front, it's got full stone on both of those ends, where it's normally on the San Jacinto, it is wainscoting of stone with a hardy board and batten above. But they've just done full stone, and it is beautiful. Their color choices are great.
Yeah, and actually interesting, going back to RJ's question about the garage. So one time they built it without the first, I found it just, it's crazy. This customer built it one time without it and one time with it. So do you know anything about, or do you recall anything about why they did that the first time or didn't it the first time, the second time?
I don't recall why we didn't the first time, but I know that it is a subdivision requirement the second time. So we had to add it, and we could have done a detached or the attached, and they just chose the attached front entry option.
Sure. Yeah, and I think I want to clarify real quick for Angelica, going back to the box beams, because they didn't do it on the house, the first house that they did a second. That's because we actually didn't have those box beams in the San Jacinto model the first time that they built it. That just occurred to me, I think. That's why they wouldn't have done it the first time. So, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so also the exterior from the first one to the second one changed when we revamped the San Jacinto. I just wanted to point that as well. So it had 3 dormers in the beginning, which is like our model had when they came the first time. Yeah. And then we changed with the doorbell that it has now. And they love that so much that they wanted to incorporate that. So
beautiful.
People do love to buy what they see.
Having that drafting lingo on us, I like it.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little about the back of the home. They did a massive covered porch.
They did a massive covered porch. We used a lot of that square footage that they deleted, and we're able to add them some square footage of porch in the back, even coming down to the side. Now, the San Jacinto originally has approximately an 8.5 by 10.5 porch that's off the side of the breakfast room and the utility room, and we just completely expanded from that and covered that back porch. So yes, that's great.
Awesome. Now, tell me about this I thought I saw overhead door on the front, but I see one on the back. What is going on? Well,
he wanted a way to drive through, get his tools and lawnmower and things like that out a lot easier. So I think it's a smaller door.
Yeah.
Than the front. Yeah. So
he doesn't have to rearrange his whole garage. He just running lawnmower out.
No.
Yeah, I saw that too. I thought that was super smart.
Yeah. I do have a lot of customers that do that, actually.
Very nice. Very, very nice. I still see the big, these look like to be 4 foot by 6 foot fixed glass windows, which is a really nice touch. And of course, a personnel door coming out of the garage to access, so you can get your grills and things like that. And then I think they have their entire outdoor cooking arrangement on display here. You got the Weber kettle, the Weber Genesis flat top grill. We got it all. We got hibachi going on back here. This is beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, so let me go to talk about the kitchen a little bit. What's different about this?
On their first home, they did not necessarily want the wall oven that comes standard with the San Jacinto now. So we kept it as a one-piece range and oven that has a microwave hood, and then of course the dishwasher that came standard with it. Gotcha. They really wanted to take out the wall oven that's usually on that stone wall, so that they could have a little bit more countertop space back there and a little bit more upper cabinetry. So on their second home, I do remember her saying that no, what she had was just fine. She liked the way it looked, and so we kept that and allowed them to have a little bit more countertop space back there. Also, the arch of the stone is a little bit different than our model here that they walked through. The stone here, it's kind of a squared. It has some cedar headers in it. But obviously this is an option as well.
Yeah, and of course you can go to, I want to make sure everybody knows you can go to our website, and there are not only interior and exterior high-res photos of the San Jacinto model home in spring. There's, of course, a Matterport virtual tour you can go through and see kind of some of the differences. So, but yeah, I mean, this gains a significant amount, almost 3.5 feet of kitchen countertop, which doesn't sound like much, but that's a lot in the kitchen. That's a whole.
Yeah. So I also wanted to just point out to Rhiannon that's on here with us that she actually just did this too. So it'll give her a really great idea of what that will look like.
Oh, very cool. All right. Dawn, do we have any questions we should address right here while we have this beautiful backdrop of the kitchen we're looking at?
We do have a couple questions. One that piggybacks well on what you were saying earlier. Ligaya is asking if we're still allowing people to view the San Jacinto model in spring.
Wendy.
Yes, we are open. We do love it when we have appointments. We love knowing that you're coming so that we can all be, safe and know the amount of people that are going to be here with us. But we are absolutely open and would love to walk you through the model.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, what she's saying about, we're wanting to have, we got to be respectful right now of the rules and that are in place of 10 people in the building at one time. We know that will pass eventually, but right now we do need to know who else coming in and when and how many people you're bringing with you so that we can stagger our appointments to make sure, we don't want anybody to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours and either have to wait to see it or not be able to see it. So that's really what that, and so that you have time to, sit down with someone like Wendy who can go through these changes and things like that with you. So yeah, great question. But yes, all of our design centers are open. You can go to our website or any of our channels or call them and make an appointment with them. And we can do it one-on-one. We can do virtual appointments, however you want to do it. But yes, they are open.
Okay. Perfect. And then Angelica has a question. Ballpark-wise, how much could she save by removing the front porch, or is that even possible?
So what I would suggest is that we look at the different exteriors available for the San Jacinto, and maybe going to the B elevation of the San Jacinto might be the best option. I don't have the pricing of the two different options in front of me. I'm not sure if that's what you're looking for, Eric, but it does save a little bit.
Of course, it's a very different look as well. If you don't have that front porch, that's something to consider. On this particular plan that we're looking at, the front porch is kind of what makes this home look the way that it does. If you take this away, these posts are going to go away. Most likely this architecture piece, the doorbell is when you call it, is going to go away. So it's something to consider. It's not just about money savings on the house. You're actually significantly changing the way the front of the home looks. But all that to say that, yeah, you don't have to have that front covered porch.
And the elevation is exactly that. So that's a good idea of what it could look like.
So the B, I'm just real quick, versus this. It's called the D, right? So, I mean, there's a $13,000 difference on average between like the D elevation and a B elevation, Wendy. So you do say that, but again, you don't. So to answer your question, you're talking about 13,000 thereabouts, pretty close. What other questions?
Okay. Let's see. Angelica's also asking about the stone in the kitchen, if that's an upgrade or is that in the base price?
That is in the base price of the B and the D elevations. In the C elevation, it would be brick.
Because that one has the brick exterior.
Yes.
So we're matching the outside to the inside.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, so whatever, if you're on our website doing the pricing on there, whatever exterior that you're looking at, if it has stone on the outside, it would be stone on the inside. If it has brick on the outside, it would be brick on the inside. So great question, though.
Great. And then RJ has a question. In the San Jacinto standard, is there normally a half bath in the back hallway? That's, I guess, missing from the one we changed.
That actually is, thank you, RJ. So that is one of the things that we took out of the house, is the location of where the half bath is. Actually got moved to, there we go, to where the flex room was. So that became utility room, and then we moved the powder room down. So it's still there, but the location changed.
Okay, that makes sense.
RJ knows his plans.
Yeah.
Well, we also have Brett who's been studying our plans, because he's asking about the upstairs bonus room option and if we can add a balcony.
Take it away, Eric.
So the answer is maybe. So we really don't like to add balconies over living area for sure. If we're going to add a balcony, we really like for it to be over another covered porch of some sort, a patio, because the waterproofing that goes into doing a balcony over living area is very, very, very complicated, and it's not guaranteed to last forever. So it may not leak the first year or 2 or 5 or 8 after we do that, if we do balcony over living area. But the reality is, with the UV rays from the sun and the weather that the state of Texas throws at homes, it is only a matter of time until a balcony built over living area is going to leak. So we really prefer to do it over porch. So we have to do some pretty significant design modifications. We have done balconies before. You can probably see some on the galleries on our website, but there does need to be some thought going into, like a designer with Wendy, to make sure that we're not going to build you something that long-term is going to haunt you. We don't want to do that. So great question though, Brent, but the answer is maybe.
That's our answer a lot.
It is our answer a lot.
Every
Answers are maybe, and it depends. Those are good. I miss my calling as a lawyer.
Let's talk about it. So Tiffany is asking, in the plan that we customized, what was the size of the master bedroom, and could we extend the exterior wall to make it bigger?
Yes, you can extend an exterior wall, or extend any wall and make it bigger. So I think that floor plan came to be about a 13 by 14 once it was sized down. I think it starts about a 16, if I remember correctly. So we took a couple of feet out of it.
Great point.
Okay, great.
What other questions we got, Don?
Well, Kim just wanted us to know that she's going up to Waxahachie this weekend to see the Fayetteville. She's making quite a drive, so thank you, Kim.
Hey, thank you, Kim.
You're gonna love
it will be worth the trip. I promise you, it's worth the trip. That house is beautiful. That whole facility is beautiful. There is construction going on right now on I-35. So call the office on your way. You got plenty of time. So somewhere along the I-35 corridor, give them a shout and make sure, just double check the exit, because the state TxDOT's doing some construction up there. They're rerouting some exits around. So, but yes, please, thank you for going. We appreciate it, Kim.
And then Michael wants to know if there's a big price difference doing the arched rock in the kitchen versus what is usually in the San Jacinto.
No, not really at all. I don't know if there's any price difference at all in doing that.
No, the only thing would be making sure, and this is something we would look into, Michael, is make sure that we actually have enough ceiling height to make so an arch, theoretically, all the way back to Rome, is they're self-supporting. So they're supposed to support themselves under their own weight. The flatter you make an arch, eventually it can fall in on itself. So we don't want that to happen. So that's when sometimes you'll see, if we prefer to use a cedar header at times, that's typically the reasons. We don't feel like there's enough ceiling height, or that the arch is too long. Either of those can make us kind of a make or break decision of, hey, let's use a cedar header instead. We feel better about that. Hope that makes sense. Hope my hand shapes make sense. I'm sure they do. Let's see. What else was
great? We have a couple people asking if we are how they can get a copy of this floor plan, and if we'll be posting it to the website. So yes, yes, all of our design centers have these plans on file that they can look at. Wendy would be the best one to help you, because she did it. But yeah, we will also put together a blog post about this and put it up on the website, so you can take a look at what they did.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to set the expectation that it's not one we probably do frequently enough where we're going to have a new portfolio plan added. to it, but it certainly is one that we can do for you, and all the sales consultants have the ability to do that at all of our locations. But Wendy, probably because the model is here in spring, has the most experience in doing with this particular plan, no doubt about it. So,
but yes,
another thing I wanted to kind of point out that's also an option when scaling down a floor plan sometimes doesn't always work. Possibly, or maybe to get it to budget, but possibly incorporating some of the things about the San Jacinto that you love, the kitchen, the stone arch, the beams on the ceiling heights, things like that can always be incorporated, not always, sometimes be incorporated to smaller plans. And you can kind of achieve the things you love about that home and try to keep it a little bit closer to budget. So that's exactly what we do. And we get creative with what is the best way for you and your budget to get there.
Wonderful. RJ has a question about the initial steps for designing our house. They're relocating to San Antonio at the beginning of next year. If there's parts of the process we can do from a distance.
We can do the entire process at a distance. I have customers that I have actually never met in person. So it's up to you how much of a distance that you need it to be. But we're very flexible, and thank goodness for the technology that we have now. I mean, virtual appointments and emails, anything can be done. So we love it when you come here, and I can really get a feel for what you're looking for and things. But man, pretty much the entire process could be handled from a distance.
Yeah. So, but to answer the initial question, what would be initial steps, right? Designing our house. What's the best thing to do to get started? Make an appointment, either virtual or phone, or?
Yes, that is absolutely imperative. I've got to figure out what you need, what's your goals, and what can we do to get there. So, absolutely an appointment, either virtual or in person, even a phone call.
Yeah, well, I do want to make the point of saying our offices are very safe. I mean, we sanitize them, we clean them often during the week. We clean them more than you clean your house during the week, most likely.
Yeah.
And they are not lived in like your house is. So we do clean them regularly. We have disinfectants at every design center desk. We have hospital grade hand sanitizer that we were able to scoop up because we're lucky enough to be close to Houston. So the medical centers nearby, we had no problems getting hospital grade disinfectant, hospital grade sanitation. So our offices are safe. Our model homes are safe. As long as we can keep it to the number of people where we need to keep it, you are very safe coming here if you're comfortable doing that. If you've already had virtual appointments and you want to come in, that's the next step. Set up an appointment at a time where you can meet one-on-one with a consultant. They can walk you through, show you the various standard features and what the options are, and go from there. Dawn, you want to go to the next part of the slides and come back to questions, or how do you want to?
Yeah, we can move on if you like, and then we'll catch the rest of the questions at the next break.
Whatever Wendy wants to do.
Wendy, what would you like to do?
I would like to do that.
Okay.
All right. Well, perfect. So we left off with the kitchen. We're moving out of the kitchen now.
Okay. So one thing that I can see that they changed is that you'll see in our model that it is a curved bar area, and they added the stone underneath the bar area. So that's always a great option when there's kids or actual people going to be sitting there at the bar when they're kicking their feet up against the wall. That stone is a great buffer. So they added the stone underneath the bar and straightened that wall out. So I can definitely see that from here.
Perfect. Yep. Moved the refrigerator space a little bit from where the pantry was, and the door going out to the porch. But yeah, beautiful use of space though. I like the table seats plenty. They got an 8-person table there, plenty of space. They could put a leaf in there and easily get 10 or 12 people at that table without a problem at all. So
it's beautiful. They've done a great job.
Yep. What's going on in here?
So they added a fireplace, gorgeous fireplace with full stone and the cedar mantle. Those are the standard cedar beams that come with the San Jacinto.
Yep.
The archways are slightly different than the model. I believe our model now has them squared off. but they like to keep the arches. So they kept the arches going through the hallway and to the master.
Okay. I think they did about as big as the TV you could possibly do above that fireplace. That's
I mean,
when football fires back up, that'll be good to go.
Priorities, Eric.
I'm ready. I'm ready right now. All right, and tell us a little bit about the master bath.
So the master bathroom was really completely revamped. It's not in the same location that it was. So we tried to keep as many of the amenities that the master bathroom had without losing anything. So I think we did that here. And it's got the deck mounted tub, a slightly smaller shower than what is seen in the model, but it was certainly big enough for them. And they kept two separate vanities there in the master as well. I believe that's his closet that you're seeing the door of at the back.
Okay. Very cool. And I did notice one thing that we have changed a little bit now that you'll see is we're doing the semi-frameless glass instead of, so really you'll see the frame kind of across the top of here. You won't see it down the sides or the bottom as well, but still real beautiful color selections too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they did a great job. They had a decorative tile. It looks like in their shower going vertically and then around the tub decking.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Very nice. All right. So now, Wendy, I think we have a lot of questions to answer.
Okay, good.
So you guys keep the questions coming in. Dawn's going to keep helping us out with the questions. But Dawn, where did we leave off, and where can we go from here on questions?
So Kim wants to know if the plan can be flip-flopped, so the garage and utility is on the opposite side, the bedrooms.
Of course. Of course, Kim, any floor plan can be flipped, reversed, no problem at all. That's one of the easiest things that we can do to a floor plan.
Yeah, and actually this is one of the ones on the website, you can reverse it. Most of the plans on our website, you can see that if you go through the plan customization option through the website, you can mirror image the plans to see what that would actually get a better feel for what it would look like.
Great. And then Lagaya is asking about the ceiling height options in the San Jacinto.
Well, there's not necessarily set options for the San Jacinto or any of our floor plans for ceiling heights. If you're looking for cathedral ceilings to be added or step ceilings or even to raise the ceiling, you can of course do that. It's almost endless. Really?
Yeah, if you don't have an upstairs, I mean,
yeah,
you can do whatever ceiling height you want. At a certain point, it is gonna cost more money, but it would just depend on what height that you're actually after. So if there's a specific height that you're after or a ceiling detail that you're after, let us know. And then the design center can get that priced out for you. But yeah, if there's no upstairs, the ceiling or the roof is the limit.
There is no ceiling.
That's not the limit. The roof is the limit.
Makes sense. Okay, Casey is asking if there's much of a price difference in a stone exterior versus an all hardy exterior.
Well, Casey, there sure can be. When you delete the stone off a house and replace it with hardy, there can be semi-significant savings for you. Probably an $8,000 to $10,000 savings sometimes, depending on the house. We also have different exteriors available, or elevations as we call them, being an A, B, C, D, or sometimes even an E. And when you see usually a C elevation in a lot of our homes, that's going to be a more hardy exterior, and it will be that price will be for that all hardy exterior. When you see an exterior, be it an A or a B that has a stone or a brick, that's already in the cost of that home. But yes, you will save money if you are looking at a home that has the stone on it and replacing it with hardy. That's
for sure. Yeah, but also, Casey, you may double check. I don't know if where you're building has any type of deed restrictions or property owners association, but in some cases they're going to have a certain percentage of masonry they require in most areas. In recent history, they don't consider, even though hardy plank is cement, cementitious fiber, they don't consider that quote masonry. They want brick, stone, or stucco. So that's something to consider as well. But yeah, most of our C's, like Wendy was saying, are farmhouse style. Like if you saw the one we did last Thursday on the Magnolia farmhouse style, most of our quote C elevations are our farmhouse style elevation. Great question though.
Great. Okay. Tiffany's saying she has a question similar to RJ, who was asking, what's the best next step? She's ready to put pen to paper and create the right floor plan. Sounds like she may have had a couple virtual appointments, but what's the best next step for her?
If she's ready to come into an office, we would love to help her here. That would be absolutely the next step.
Yeah.
Narrowing down floor plan and diving into it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then actually watching them make the changes in front of you is it's really
Right.
neat to see.
A lot of times we can make the changes and we can price right in front of you, depending on how extensive the changes are. But a lot of times we're doing that right there in front of you as you're talking and as we go.
Yep.
Wonderful. So Rebecca's just mentioning that she's really glad to hear that we're open. She's been wanting to bring in her parents and sister because they're looking to build their own Tilson family. They're building on joint property.
Awesome. We are open.
Yeah.
Come on in, Rebecca. And then Tiffany was also asking if we have a standalone tub option.
We have a few of them.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes, we do. In fact, there's one, if you want to see one on our website, the LaSalle model that we have at our Huntsville location actually has a standalone tub in there, and there's more options, like Wendy was saying, beyond that one, but you can go check that one out and kind of get an idea of what that looks like.
Great. And then RJ is asking about typical building time frame.
So we have process time frame and building time frame, kind of two different things. So from the time that you are ready to go, we've got your floor plan completely how you like it. We've decided to move forward. You're looking at usually about a 9 to 11 month time frame for the process. 3 or 4 months of that is about pre-construction, meaning we're meeting you at the site. You're doing some stuff in here, some really important color decisions and things. Soil testing, foundation designs, but we call that pre-construction. Your building time frame usually is about, 5-6 months. So process 9 to 11, building 5 to 6.
Total 9 to 11, right? That's So we kind of break it up between site development, like we were talking about, where you're making your design center selection, septic designs, permitting, all that kind of good stuff, and then going into construction, actual setting of forms and all the way to completion, during which time, by the way, you're not making any payments, RJ. There's no interest accruing. There's no construction loan payments that you're making. There's no draws that you're having to go get from a bank and make payments on those. So truly the faster the better for Tilson and for the customer. We want to get out there and get after it. The one we did last Thursday, the total time was 7 months that we talked about. So, it can be done. Most of them are not that. Most of them, they happen to be living out there. So they had a lot of time and already had a lot of the utilities and stuff in place. Great question.
Okay. And then Michael is asking about metal roofs and steel prices being really high, which is also driving a higher cost on the roof. Do we think those prices are going to come down anytime soon, or what do we think is going to happen there?
When do you want to get into the macroeconomic factors that go into tariffs? And
I would love to pass to you.
Michael, the answer is we doubt it. Anything that can be manufactured like that, the manufacturers can typically do a really, really good job of gauging demand. And so they will throttle back supply, even so much as taking actual manufacturing facilities offline for maintenance or whatever, to keep supply down to match demand so that they don't lose their margin. Most, 50 years ago, it wasn't that way. There wasn't that kind of real-time data that you can get from all of these supply chain software that you have now. But in today's world, the steel manufacturers knew a long, long, long time ago what the demand was going to be in 3, 6, 8, 12, 14, 24 months. And they will schedule their maintenance on their manufacturing facilities accordingly and scale down production to meet demand. And they're not the only ones to do it, by the way. Your granite quarries will do the same thing. Your silestone or quartz manufacturers will do the same thing. They will scale down production before they give up margin. So the answer is I doubt it. metal roof, steel roof prices are just high. That's just the way that it is. They are beautiful. Hope that answers the question.
Okay. And then one more question. Ligaya is asking if we have any incentives going on.
Yeah, no payments, no construction loan, no interim financing, the same great values that we give all of our customers all the time. The reality is, Ligaya, a house costs what it costs to build. There's no, a builder's probably, particularly a custom builder, is not going to enter into an agreement for a lower price than they foresee it's going to cost to get it built. In fact, I would encourage them not to, because they're going to cut a corner somewhere. Because they got to pay all those things. So that, a 2x4 cost what a 2x4 cost, a sheet of sheetrock cost what a sheet of sheetrock cost, and a man-hour cost what a man-hour cost. So the risk that Tilson's taking in our case is we're not getting paid on that till the house is completely finished and you close and move in. So we're the one exposed to all the risk out there for what the costs are going to be long term, whereas you locked in on a price up front that you're not having to pay for till the house is finished and pay there's no interest on that, no cost overruns. No one's going to come back to you and say, oh, hey, the frame costs X dollars more to do. And a lot of builders do that. We do not. So that's I would be very leery of any incentives that you see that are not on an inventory home. A lot of times where you see incentives in the home building industry are on inventory homes. Those are production homes that are already built, or under construction, and so that builder has money on the ground. There's property taxes associated with that. There's insurance associated with that. They may very well have a construction loan on those inventory homes. So that money, that home sitting there, is costing them money. Whereas on a custom home, it's just a piece of paper. There's nothing. It doesn't cost anything until we start construction. Hope that makes sense. What other questions do we have, Don? Or are we ready to do our big send-off?
We just have a couple more. Brent is asking if built-in shelving is a feasible option. Do we do built-ins?
Sure. It's a little bit more information that we need. What are you looking for that to be? Is it more of a bookcase style, free floating shelves? What do we need that to be?
Yeah, we typically do them two ways, Brent. That's like a painted shelving to match the trim, or it's done actually by our cabinet company where it matches all the cabinetry in your home. Those are the two ways we see it done most. Is that fair, Wendy?
Mm-hmm. Very fair.
And you just have to decide if you want them to be adjustable, if you want them to be fixed, if you want them to be trim paint grade, or if you want them to match cabinetry.
Okay, great. Angelica is asking about the price of the model in Grayson County. What would be the best place for her to go to get that?
Here in Spring.
The only place that has it. I'm surprised you didn't say it was the only place that's open right now, because it's not.
I wouldn't lie.
Wendy doesn't lie.
I could actually give you the base price briefly on the San Jacinto D elevation. In Grayson County is about $317. Which is pretty close. So, but on our website, tilsonhomes.com, you can actually put your county into any plan that you're looking at, and get the pricing for any of our designs, the initial what's included price. And then I would recommend making an appointment with a local design center to walk through what all that entails and what else you might need for your property specifically.
Great. And then Jennifer is asking on this specific house that we just showed. How much credit do they get for losing the space, and how much did it cost to add the garage?
Good question. So we're going to go back to what we kind of said in the beginning, and this is not necessarily the most cost-effective way to get a smaller home. But when you want what you want and we're able to do it, they wanted to do it. So this particular person, I want to say that they were. It was credited about $30,000 to $40,000 off the base price of the house. The garage typically costs, and this was several years ago, but the garage now will typically cost about $30,000 for a 2-car.
Yeah, so they end up saving you're right, about $40,000 off the base price with the living area they deleted, but that also included adding a significant amount of covered porch. Yeah, and so Yeah, pretty well offset and paid for the entire. And they have a larger than normal garage. I noticed too. It's a two car plus, like 2.25 car garage. But good question.
Very good. And that was our last question.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We hope you glean some things out of these design changes folks do, get some ideas. We'd love to help you out with them. Reach out to us on our various channels, Facebook, Instagram, our YouTube channel, of course, our website. And all of our design centers are open. So Wendy, thank you for doing this, particularly on your day off. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Dawn, thank you for facilitating and moderating and setting it all up and doing all you guys wouldn't even know about these things if it weren't for Dawn. She sends out all the notifications and schedules all that stuff, her and her team, Kelsey and Nick. So thank you all very much for doing that. And we will see you. We are doing the next one. Is it Saturday, Dawn?
Yes, it's Saturday at noon.
Next one is Saturday at noon. Gig 'em, Tiffany. I saw that. Saturday at noon will be our next one. Oh, we forgot to have them vote. If you're still watching and want to vote, we had a very close tie between what to expect once construction begins and what you need to know when selecting a custom builder. So if you want to comment about which one you'd like to see this Saturday, let us know. We're still open to whichever. So either what to expect once construction begins or what to know when selecting a custom builder. Let us know which one you'd like to hear about. We'll do that Saturday at 12 o'clock. And if you got any questions between now and then, reach out to us. And we can't wait to hopefully soon one day make you part of the Tilson family. Thanks. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, everybody.